would say that the Mavs got work to do. Now, I think they overexceeded expectations. In every year, you may get one of those teams that push ahead of where they projected to finish. Even though I believe that the Mavs were around better than they were the last two seasons when they got exited the first round, I believe they was a second round exit team. They overexceeded that by a series, and they made the Western Conference Finals. Congratulations, they earned it. You don't get there by accident. You earn it in that moment, okay? And they did. They beat one of the good basketball teams that has been consistent for the last three seasons. They earned that spot to be in the Western Conference Finals. But I still think they got work to do. And I don't think it's as clear-cut that this team is right there that everybody thinks. I like Denver a little bit more. The reason why I say so is because, before I even get to my Denver take, is because I don't think you can win with number two being Spencer Dinwiddie or Jalen Brunson. Don't get me wrong, Jalen Brunson is a good player. Spencer Dinwiddie is a good player. They can cut to the basket. They can create their own offense. That can't be your number two in the championship roster, right? And I think to find that number two, that's a job in itself to fit with Luka, because Luka is ball-centric. Now, granted, he passes the ball well, and maybe it's a philosophy thing. I don't know. We all know with Michael Jordan, how that happened, where he was Michael Jordan-centric, and then Phil Jackson came in there with the triangle, and he won championships. But you're going to need a coach like that that's going to do something similar to have guys wanting to play around Luka and share the basketball and win a championship. And it's going to be interesting to see how they attack that. They still need a big. They need a center. Do you try to trade for Rudy Gobert? I mean, how do you go about attacking that? So they have work to do. I think the Nuggets are closer than the Mavs are, and I know it's cliche because the Mavs are here, like 3 games, 4 games away, that we all know it's not going to happen, but they're here. They're one round away from the finals. But I think the Nuggets, when they get healthy, is closer than the Mavericks. I think the Clippers are closer than the Mavericks once they get healthy. So they got work to do.
Yeah. My thing with Denver and a bunch of these other teams, I just want to see what Murray and Porter look like when they get back and all these guys are playing together. Let me ask you this about Dallas, though. Would you re-sign Jalen Brunson in the offseason? Would you give him as much money as he wants in order to avoid him letting go? And let's say you bring in a guy like Ayton and you roll next year with a big three of Doncic and Brunson and Ayton. That, with how good Doncic is, I think that team is good enough to do serious damage. And I'm curious, would Ayton be down to go to a team like Dallas that just knocked out his Phoenix Suns in the conference semifinals?
Well, if you're DeAndre Ayton, I mean, you're trying to get paid. That's your main priority, it seems like. You didn't want to finish the game. However, that dispute happened. I don't know what happened between him and Monty Williams, but clearly it looks like he can't even function without that max contract, so he should be willing to get it any way he gets it. And if you're the Mavericks, let's say he gets it from there, and you're talking about Luka and DeAndre Ayton and Brunson, that's a team that's definitely better than this year's team. But, that's not how inflation works. Other teams could be better. You could be a better version of yourself, but I still think they need a little bit more. DeAndre Ayton, I'm not sure if he qualifies for a star, more so than a piece that can be a legit number 3. And that's how I look at it. I don't really think centers are or the type of people that should be in 1 and 2s. Maybe 2s, but definitely not number 1s. And, I think they will probably need more than that. Jalen Brunson is a good player. I would love for the Knicks to take him. Honestly, I don't like hearing the Mavs re-signing him because I think the Knicks will use him and use his services, even though we all know Thibodeau will run him into the ground. Don't give Thibodeau no talent, bro. He'll run them into the ground. So that's another topic for another day. But the Mavs are there. I don't want to make it seem like the Mavs are, a disappointment. Listen, they overexceeded expectations. They're right there. Luka is great. Top 3 in the NBA. He needs to improve defensively before we even talk about adding to the roster. Like I said, he needs to improve defensively. You cannot be on the floor and guys just picking you apart like that. Like, if you're that good offensively and that bad defensively, that cancels each other out to some extent. So he needs to be better in that retrospect, and they need to continue to add on to this roster and see if they can get over the hump, because guess what? It's not going to be in this series. The Warriors will take care of them.
Yeah, one last point I'll say to this. For the future of the Mavs, and I really believe this, I think Doncic is so good that he's one of those players that when you have him on your team, it's almost like LeBron. You're always going to have at least a shot And a lot of people were shocked when they were missing him the first 2 games of that Jazz series and still found a way to split the first 2 games in Dallas, and they found a way to win once he came back. Like, everyone was shocked that they not only beat the Suns in Game 7, but they blew them out. And I still believe, like, if he just would get a little more help in this Warriors series, Dallas would have won Game 2, and they could still be right in it to make it a competitive series. I just hold this guy to such a high standard. Like, not everyone is coming into the playoffs their first year, like, and dropping 40-point games like here and there. I do believe the last 2 years, if Dallas ran into a team not named the Clippers, like, they could have easily made this run 2 years ago or last year opposed to doing it right now. That's why I'm not surprised by this. And I'm telling you, man, like, this guy, I hold him to that highly of a regard. I think he's that good. I do think he's a guy that makes other players around him better. And if you have him, like, you're set. You're golden.
I mean, to be clear, and this is my last point on it, this team, this Mavs team presently constructed, is a better team than that LeBron James comparison you're talking about, where he got Mo Williams and a bunch of no-name guys, one that's homeless right now, or was homeless. Glad to see him doing a little bit better. And Varejao and all the guys over there. That's a worse team than this Mavericks team. I think if we want to compare LeBron and Luka, which it's not a outlandish thing to do from the fact that they both got good court vision. They're willing passes. They're good passes. They can see the whole court. So yeah, you could make that comparison. But from a team comparison, I don't think we should make that, because the Cavs were in a totally different conference, which was a little bit easier to win, and their team was not as good as this team. And I think it all depends on a lot of factors outside of just the Mavs. When you look around, look around you. Look around, what do you see? You see a lot of good teams in the Western Conference still, especially next year and the year after that. So, yeah, Luka could be great. He could continue to be great. I expect him to continue to be great. I expect him to possibly win an MVP within the next 2 seasons. But they're going to need more than that to win a championship by 4. No question about it.
Can You Dig It Sports Radio Network is here. Revolutionize the game of media. You dig?
Ladies and gentlemen, I know y'all not getting tired of watching In the Huddle over and over again, so like and subscribe to the channel and receive these new notifications of new uploaded content that will be coming your way. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm out. Peace.